Hey, Gator fans. Today I am joined by a very special guest, Coach Trent Miller, the HBC of Willis High School and DJ Lagway's high school coach. Thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Allie. It's always a pleasure.
I'm excited you're back. Okay, so first of all, the last time we talked, DJ hadn't played it down for Florida yet. And now, obviously, he is seeing the field more and more. And now it is his team because of Graham Mertz's injury. You have to be so proud.
Oh yeah, proud's an understatement. Watching him play for that first time was so exciting. Very emotional for me, not only me but my entire family. We've all gotten to know DJ, and his family, so well, and we've grown so close over the years. When he, touched the field, it was a very, very surreal moment, and we couldn't be more happy for that kid, and everything that he's endured growing up, and through the recruiting process, and where he is now. Man, it's just been it's special.
Let's talk a little bit about his start against Kentucky 2 weeks ago. He had seen time in every game, obviously played Samford when Mertz was hurt as well. But, Kentucky is the first game where it was really his team. We knew that Graham Mertz was not going to be making it back this year because of injury. And Kentucky has been a real struggle for Florida the last couple of years. We went 31 years straight beating them. And then the last 5, we've had a hard time consistently putting it together. Let's talk a little bit about his Kentucky performance. He threw an incredible deep ball all game long. When you're watching that on, live, what are you thinking?
It's hard for us, in Willis to kind of, get into all the Twitter banter and all the social media stuff because the throws that DJ made against Kentucky, and the throws that he's made all year has people going, wow, and we saw that every single day, at Willis. Those throws, he made some tremendous throws, some great throws, but he would do that 15 or 20 times a day at practice, or 15 times a night, against whoever we were playing, in Willis. The cool thing for us is to see him do it on that stage at that level, and to get his first true start against an SEC opponent against Kentucky, and to do it the way he did it, for us it was special because it justifies to the rest of the world now. Yes, he is who we all know he is. Now everybody else sees it, and you see it live on TV. You don't get to see. You're not seeing it for the first time on a Twitter cut up. The day after. He's doing it against big boys in the SEC, not high school kids. In Willis, Texas. But yeah, those throws that he makes. Everyone's wowed by his deep ball. He throws a beautiful deep ball. The touch he can put on a ball or the zip he can put on a ball. He can make every throw from every arm angle, and I think people are starting to see that now, and he gets to display that on the biggest stage in the world. So it's been phenomenal.
Florida's offense seems to run better when DJ Lagway is behind center. And the thing that I think has been so interesting to Gator fans is our offensive line looks better, our running backs look better. Talk about the versatility that he brings to the position that kind of allows everybody else to maybe do their job a little bit better as well.
Sure, I think he's been coined on every media platform as a dual threat quarterback, and that's great. But DJ's always, in my opinion, been more of a pro style quarterback in how he prepares and how he trains. And really what he did for us offensively, at Willis. I think to me, I would label him as a pro style quarterback with dual threat abilities, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because he's a super freak athlete, but also doesn't want to get caught in that stigma of a dual threat quarterback because he's 6'4", 240 and runs a whatever 40 he runs now. I think he prides himself on being that pocket passer, that pro style quarterback. But it's a beautiful thing to see him take off and run as well. So I mean, there's that. Yeah, what he's doing right now as a freshman, again, is no surprise to me. As someone who's known him for a long time, because I know, and we know here, what he's capable of doing. I think the most surprising thing for what they're doing offensively right now is how efficiently and how well he's running it at such an early age,
Yeah.
and such an early point in the season at an early age. We're all excited to see him play, but I would be crazy if I didn't tell you that, I'm nervous every game day watching him play, knowing, I mean, the kid is, he's 18 years old and he's playing against grown men, that will be first round draft picks, top 10 draft picks. And, what I've been really impressed with, though, speaking of the offense, is how well the offensive line has protected them the last couple of weeks, and the run game they're starting to establish there at Florida has been fun to watch, because if you don't put it all together, it doesn't matter how good or talented one single player is.
Right.
Being able to be multiple and being able to do some things now that they weren't able to do, at the beginning of the season, it's been great. And puts our mind at ease a little bit watching DJ play, knowing that he's not gonna have to carry everything on his shoulders like he did at sometimes at some points when he was in high school. So it's fun.
It is fun, and I know you're proud, but let's if you had to give him some critiques of his first game, you're watching film with him Sunday morning afterwards, what would you tell him he still needed to work on?
Oh, first of all, I got pissed off at the interception he threw to the flat defender when he's got a running back check down wide open in the flats. And we joked about that. I joked about that with his dad. Um, with him, I think it's a very similar conversation you have with any young player or young quarterback that's playing early, is not letting the moment get too big. Don't make the situation bigger than what it needs to be. Don't try to make be the Heisman on every single throw. Conversations we've had in the past, especially when he was in high school. You can see a little bit in some body language where he's a little bit tense, early on, and trying to get settled in. Which, again, I mean, I understand the atmosphere that he's in. But for me, that critique would be that reassurance of, like, hey, dude, like, you are who everyone thinks you are. And the one thing that, we always harped on when he was in school was, you're a special player. Special players make special plays. Because you're a special player, you don't have to do anything special.
Mm-hmm.
Be
Just
average. If you're a special player that's making average plays, that's a special play to everybody else in the world. So just keep doing you. Don't press. And um, I guess that would be the biggest things I'd say to him. If I was coaching him on the sidelines, I guess on game day.
what did he have to say after the game? Was he so excited?
He was super excited. But with DJ, everything is always about everybody else. Hey, congrats. Hey, coach, the team played great. We ran the ball great. O line was money. Hey, how about how the defense play? I mean, yeah, like, just he's never going to take the credit, the way he deserves the credit. That's just who he is. He's always about giving, to everybody else, and that's what makes him a special player, and a special teammate, because it's very, very rare that you see a kid that gives praise to
Yeah.
everyone else first, and doesn't want the attention. You're not going to see him at an after party. You're not going to see him out there doing crazy things after a game, because that's just not it's not who he is.
Yeah. So let's talk about what is down the pipeline for him. Florida has what a lot of people are calling the toughest schedule in college football. They're about to go into the toughest stretch of that schedule. Starts on Saturday in a top 5 team with Georgia. What kind of mindset do you think he'll have going into this game? Will it be any different than it would be going into a Samford or going into a Kentucky? It's going to be the toughest defense he's seen yet, and it's going to be the toughest atmosphere he's seen yet.
Oh, I'll tell you, as a former coach, and very close to him, hell, I'm scared to death for him. I mean, you got Georgia, Texas, and LSU, bam, 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 back to back to back, and yeah, it's like murder's row for the next 3 weeks. But he's not going to prepare. He's not going to do anything any different than what he did to prepare for that first start against Sanford. Every time he touches the field, he wants to be the absolute best player out there, and he's the ultimate competitor. Yes, I do think that he's going to be probably a little bit more locked in when he's watching defensive line pass rushes or guys blitzing from boundaries, because it is Georgia.
Yeah.
And those guys are monsters. But the preparation is the preparation. I mean, when he was in school with us, whether we were getting ready to play for a district championship or a team that was 2-7, he's not going to go out there and look bad because he's underprepared or someone out there, prepared more than he did. And so I don't worry about that with him. And because it is his team now, his offense, his locker room, I would venture to say that he's also got the other 10 guys that are on the field with him, or 14 guys, considering the guys that rotate in. They're
Sure.
having their own film sessions and doing the extra stuff because that's the kind of leader he is as well.
So let's say you're calling this game against Georgia. And I know we just talked about the fact that he is, more of a pro style quarterback and that's what he wants to be. But, watching the teams that have had success in, defining success, I guess, against Georgia when they've only lost, to Alabama is a little hard. But the teams that have had scoring success, they've like Milrow at Bama have used their legs a little bit. Do you think that is something Florida could be looking to do because other teams have kind of laid a little bit of a blueprint there? What kind of game are you calling against this defense?
Yeah, anybody who knows, I guess anything about what we did or what we do offensively is, I always spread the ball out, throw a quick game, get the ball in the boundary as fast as possible. That's kind of just my brand and my style, but it works for, in my opinion, situations like this. Listen, I don't know the full breakdown of,
Right.
what the front seven have compared to Georgia's offensive line and run game, but I would venture to say that it's hard to match
Mm-hmm.
Georgia in the trenches. Um, and so I would play the perimeter game, especially with somebody like DJ. I would spread the field out, throw the now screens, quick game, take some quick shots over the top, keep the pocket moving, a lot of play action to get him, moving out towards the boundaries and the flats and throwing the ball on the run, things like that. But and sprinkling the run game when necessary. But again, I've watched zero prep film to prepare for something like that. But just knowing what the matchups look like, I would play for sure the perimeter game, and I would get the ball out of DJ's hands as quickly as possible to receivers out there in space because not only is he extremely efficient at doing that, but you also have to look at the longevity of the season and keeping that young man healthy as well.
Yeah. So, Georgia, Texas coming down the gauntlet, LSU, those are teams that force their opponents to make mistakes. And, obviously DJ is incredibly talented, but he's not perfect. Nobody's perfect. And he's a freshman playing in the SEC. How is his mentality when he makes a mistake? Is he one of those guys that just very easily bounces back, shakes it off like that? Like, I don't know that he's had the kind of adversity that he's potentially about to face with the level of competition they're going into.
Yeah, when DJ makes mistakes, he gets pissed. It's kind of funny now looking back because I don't, I'm not on the sidelines with him anymore. But it's one of those deals where you don't have to say anything to him. Like when he messes up, he knows he messed up, and he really doesn't want to hear it. And he's never been disrespectful, but like it's just that sometimes with our relationship, it's just that eye contact piece. Like, hey, he's like, yeah, coach, I got it. Um, he knows. He also, when he messes up, he knows what he did wrong, and he immediately knows, how he can fix it or how he can improve on it. There were times in big time games back when he was in high school where, the atmosphere was, it was electric and very loud and and very competitive. Um, but he's got that switch that he can turn on, to where, it's not that you have to say something to him. That it's, at this point right now, I don't need to say anything to him because you can just, read his body language and you can see that look to where, let's just leave him alone and and kind of just see what happens. And so I think he'll rise to the occasion. I think people will see, his leadership qualities come out even more these next couple of weeks because it's big time games against big time opponents, and a lot of people don't give him any shot whatsoever to be successful. Um, he's a great, gladiator in the ring when he's, the underdog or a part of the underdog team, and so I think you'll see that on full display these next couple of weeks, and that DJ is fun to watch for sure because. You never know what you're going to get as far as how he's going to respond or how he's going to react. He's always going to keep people on their toes, but uh, it'll be a lot of fun.
What type of growth have you seen in him since he arrived at UF?
The biggest thing I can say that I see with him is the game has slowed down significantly for him, especially with the conversations that we've had. But you can also see it from week one to you know whatever week it is now, week 7, week 8, whatever. You can see how the game has slowed down right in front of his eyes. And so for me, like, it was never a matter of being able to make this throw, make that throw. He's going into January. Is he in shape? Is he out of shape? Is he too fat, too skinny? Is he strong enough? Too strong? None of those questions. I never had questions about any of those things. It was how quickly he was going to adapt and pick up to the speed of the game. In a new system. And I've been very, very impressed. With where he's at. Again, from an outsider's perspective, because
Sure.
um, I've coached a lot of football and I've seen football my entire life. And you kind of, as a fan, you have an idea of what, something that doesn't look right, or, what are they doing here type things. And so, um, you can just tell that, he's very comfortable in what he's doing. Like, for me, knowing his body language, I can also tell, in situations where he's going to himself, what the hell was I doing right there? You know that he knows he made the wrong read, or whatever. And that, to me, that's funny because he thinks he's hiding it, but for guys that know him really well, man, you ain't hiding nothing.
All right. Before I let you get out of here, Coach, what does it do for a program like Willis to have DJ at a place like Florida and succeeding so early in his career?
Well, I tell you, for our current football team, it gave this team this year the fuel that they needed to get over the hump and be successful. Everybody that I talked to at the beginning of the year, and doing interviews with, it was always, okay, well, it's life after Lagway, life after Lagway. What are we going to do without Lagway? You guys were y'all a one trick pony? Were you this? Were you that? And it fueled our team this year to play with a chip on their shoulder. And we're rolling right now. We're 9-0. We've got our last regular season game of the year this year. And um, it's been fun, shutting a lot of the people up. And a lot of people that are doubting us, out there, have learned that we can do this without DJ. Now, was it a lot easier to do with DJ with us? Absolutely. But the cool thing is, with people in the community, with Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and all these different accounts, every game day in Florida, it's like a game day in Willis, Texas. Every time he completes a pass, social media is blowing up. Every time, he throws a touchdown pass, social media is blowing up. Um, and it's crazy because people will sit on, especially the older community, they'll sit and they'll record on their TV from their cell phone, DJ doing this or DJ doing that. Then they'll post it on Facebook. It's like, if you had Twitter, you could get all that without having to do all this work. But it's cool. Game days, my phone blows up, all night long. Did you see that throw? Did you see this? Yeah, yeah, we're watching the game. I'm locked in. At some point, I'm going to get out there. I promise. But no, it's been special. He's definitely put Willis, Texas on the map. Not just regionally, but I think nationally and even globally. We were thankful that he was and is a part of us in our community, and look forward to all the special things that he will do, not only this year, but for the next, 3 years at the University of Florida.
All right, Coach, I'm going to let you get out of here, but you do have to promise me you're going to make it down to Gainesville soon.
I will be there before the season's over, I promise.
All right, I'm holding you to it. Thanks for joining us today, and thanks for tuning in, guys, and go Gators.
Go Gators and go Cats.